Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. I'm the woman of Galatians 4:4 and the woman of Revelations 12. Please refer to your Bible. And all I ask you to do is consider that I am who I say I am. I'm the mother of the New Jerusalem, and I'm the mother that gave birth to newborn King Emmanuel, February the 15th, 2011. This is a republic notice to right-wing birther Dungbots of Republican Scallywags. I did a previous video where I was called a lady preacher with a vile sermon. I don't see anything that was vile about truth. Because I used the word anus in it doesn't make it vile. That's a part of anatomy, in case you don't know it. Okay? And some of them said they couldn't listen to it. And some of them said that they could not stand it because I didn't use proper sentence structure and syntax and all this. Everything to avoid the truth. Well, here is the truth. Again, you do not have any jurisdiction higher than Michelle Obama, First Lady of the United States Constitutional America. You can have all the cards you want. You can come up with all the forgeries, all the documents, all the this, Sheriff APAIGO and all his team. You could come up with everything you want. But none of them documents don't supreme the First Lady Michelle Obama constitutionality. Which means that President Obama constitutional privileges and immunities from all you Dungbots, you cannot get around or get over, no matter how much you pull from the anus of your mule contracts. And when I say mule contracts, I'm talking about the U.S. corporate mule that don't have one amendment. The mule that blacks inherited by non-consent jurisdiction. See, they inherited because they was non-consenters constitutionally 5 years before the inception of the mule in 1871. This is their mule that came with their 40 acres, and I told you before, and I tell you again, 1600 was built by the constitutional citizens' hands. Their 40 acres is under that. 1600 square rooted is 40 acres, okay? You can pull up all the documents you want, but President Obama is protected by non-consent jurisdiction, which means privileges and immunities from all those who contract with the U.S. corporation. When someone becomes a president, they have constitutional protections. Now, a lot of you want to say he's ineligible for his presidency, and you pull up all this documents and all this other stuff that you think matters. But it's preemptively nullified by Constitution. No authority of non-consent jurisdiction. It's non-consented. It's non-consented. It's non-consented evidence because it cannot supreme the fact that President Obama blood is in the Constitution, whether you like it or not, through a constitutional citizen First Lady called Michelle Obama. And then you try to talk like I'm naive. There is no naivete in me. I understand exactly what I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying. First of all, as U.S. corporation contractor, you have no jurisdiction over Article 2 of what a natural birth is. It's not left up to your interpretations, and the Supreme Court really don't have an exact interpretation, because if they did, it would have stopped a whole lot of them from being so-called presidents. Article 2 has been non-consented and sealed since 1870. It has been non-consented by the Civil Rights Act of 1866, that enforce automatically contracts through all states and jurisdictions by the non-consenter, sovereign, God-sovereign persons and citizens, who was constitutionalized in 1868 by the 14th Amendment. So we have the 1866 Civil Rights Act that meant that we have jurisdiction enforcement rights in all states and territories in anyway, even before the 14th Amendment. Okay? See, the Bill of Rights was protected by blacks because this is what your birthers can't get around, by you being Dungbots of the Scallywags. See, you're Dungbots of the Scallywags, and they done led you down a Penrose path, and they done fed your childish delusions. Your childish delusions of grandeur, that you could just come in on somebody's birthright and stand on top of 400 years of human capital investment, and you have all authority in the world. Well, after the Civil War, you better know they called these people scallywags who was in the Republican Party. So if you think blacks are bamboozled, then you're bamboozled, hoodwinked, and run amok. Because these scallywags has sold you out as debt vessels a long time ago. You knew stuff wasn't right when President Kennedy's head was blown off. And you trying to act like this evil just now is coming about. Well, you consented since Woodrow Wilson to white supremacy with your all-white senates, all-white governors, all-white this, all-white that. Then you twist your contorted lips to try to call me a racist. But that won't go, because we do have constitutional nations and races of all kinds. It's just like the majority of you birthers is not part of. And that's what you need to understand. Article 2 is not your jurisdiction. No matter what you pull up, it's under non-consent jurisdiction. Non-consent jurisdiction was established in 1865 because you had to change the whole jurisdiction of the Constitution to abolish slavery. Because the Constitution started with consent jurisdiction in acceptance that the practice and institution of slavery had existed in 1787. In 1865, it was abolished, and to abolish the institution, the whole jurisdiction of the Constitution had to be changed to non-consent jurisdiction. So with the abolishment of involuntary servitude, non-consent jurisdiction came about, and we had a non-consenting citizen built up from that. And that is First Lady Michelle Obama and her kind, Marion Robinson. Now, you refuse to accept truth because truth is a painful thing. But you so busy accusing and telling blacks how dumb they are, but you need to know this one thing. Blacks are supreme contractual non-consenters. So they're nobody easy slave. As a matter of fact, they're the only ones that took the whip for 300 years not to be an easy slave. Now, just because you're easy slaves to the Republican scallywags, and you want to overlook everything in this constitutional document, especially these black citizens in it, just for your own infantile, selfish needs and wants and ambitions and materialism, don't mean that contract is going to change. A pack of dogs can trample a deed. That don't mean that deed change because a pack of dogs trample. Okay? And as you as corporate contractors, you trampling in white majority ain't going to change the contract. It's signed, sealed, in Fort Knox. President Obama is the constitutional republic jurisdiction, which means public ORLY TAITZ, public Sheriff APAIGO, public Michelle Bachmann. You have no jurisdictional contract. You have no jurisdictional authority. The Republican scallywags sold you out as debt vessels. Okay? Now blacks, they dealt with both parties, but they only had allegiance to the constitutional republic. That's their allegiance. Their allegiance wasn't to materialism. They're in the supreme contract as non-consenters because 3/5 couldn't consent, which means they inherited constitutionality and non-consent jurisdiction, which means the Constitution 1 through 15 amendments is non-consent supreme first contractual jurisdiction. And President Obama is protected by this. His blood is in the Constitution. And your Republican scallywags not telling you that they can't get around it. Your Republican scallywags not telling you that they are dual agents. Your Republican scallywags looking at you like you're a nut when you're giving them all this information you digging up. They go laugh behind closed doors at you because you're stupid enough to be Dungbots, which mean debtors of the UN governance, okay? Because you're not under the governance of the Constitution. You're considered jurisdictional bastards. Jurisdictional bastards. President Obama is president by jurisdiction, Jack. Jurisdiction. So you bought that Republican scallywag line that all you gotta do is open your legs and give birth and you somehow American. No. President Obama had blood under non-consent jurisdiction. His children was born from a non-consenter. And another thing, if you want to say he was born in Kenya and insist on this, that he was born in Kenya, then you should know foreign aid went to Kenya before he was born from non-consent jurisdiction. And we have jurisdiction contractual enforcement rights since 1866. That's if you want to say that. But you can't prove that. But if you want to insist on it, we still have 1866 enforcement jurisdiction rights wherever any foreign aid went. And President Kennedy in 1961, U.S. aid sent money to Kenya prior to President Obama's birth, okay? So that means our non-consent jurisdiction contracts was established in Kenya before he was born. So he was born under non-consent jurisdiction. And guess what? Whether you like it or not, we have the privileges and immunities of non-consent jurisdiction, automated enforcement of non-consent jurisdiction, or non-consent to enforce non-consent jurisdiction. See, we can do either. That's called God's sovereignty. Automated enforcement of non-consent jurisdiction or non-consent to enforce non-consent jurisdiction. Well, we're enforcing non-consent jurisdiction and telling you you are preemptively nullified from any dung fingers on Article 2, because it has nothing to do with a majority public Babylon. It is strictly constitutional republic property. By supreme contract, non-consented to birther Dungbots who under the bastard jurisdiction of the UN as U.S. squatters and Dungbots of Republican scallywags who sold you out as debt vessels because you come under Woodrow Wilson, birth of a new nation. That's the debt vessel nation that consented to all the evil in the world just so you can trample that black republic infant. It says, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of the republic for which it stands. Not I pledge allegiance to the flag to the United States of the U.S. corporate public mystery Babylon. Get it straight, then wake up out of your dung bat, because the Republican scallywags are using you. They're dual agents. And what they're not telling you is that supreme contract is Fort Knox, and they can't get around it. All they can do is follow your consent and make your debt vessels for the world. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.